It really makes you think, doesn't it? I mean, how much is going on around us right now that we just can't see? We're sort of limited to this tiny slice of light.
It's true, our vision is incredible, but yeah, fundamentally limited by biology. What if we could actually nudge those limits?
Well, that what if is exactly what we're digging into today. Picture this. Contact lenses, right? Like normal ones.
Uh-huh.
But they let you see in near infrared. And here's the really wild part. Apparently, it works even better with your eyes closed.
Yeah, it's genuinely exciting stuff. We're looking at research covered by Live Science just out yesterday, May 22nd.
So forget those massive, heavy night vision goggles.
Right.
This could be a pathway to night vision, maybe even helping people with colorblindness see more, all in a simple contact.
It's got huge potential.
So, okay, our mission today, figure out how these lenses actually work, what they could do for us, and, what hurdles are still left.
Sounds good.
All right, let's get into the science.
Yes, yeah.
How do they give you this, extra vision?
Okay, so the real magic is in material science. These aren't standard contacts. They've got these specially designed nanoparticles mixed into the polymer.
The squishy stuff.
Exactly, the same flexible, non-toxic stuff used in soft contacts. So comfort should be similar.
Nanoparticles.
Yeah.
Okay, what are these tiny things actually made of?
Right, so the base is sodium gadolinium fluoride, and then embedded in that, they have these luminescent bits, shed-bium, erbium, and gold?
Gold.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and luminescent means they glow.
Sort of, yeah. They absorb energy from one kind of light, in this case, near-infrared light, that hits them,
Huh.
and then they re-emit that energy, but as visible light, the kind our eyes are built to see, roughly 380 to 750 nanometers.
Wow, so they're like tiny translators taking invisible infrared and turning it into something visible.
Precisely.
That's really clever. And the article said, no batteries needed, no power source.
That's a key point. Totally passive. Unlike traditional night vision goggles, which need electronics and power.
Right, the image intensifier tubes and all that.
Yeah, these lenses just absorb the infrared photons coming in and spit them back out as visible ones. Simple physics, really sophisticated application.
Okay, that's a massive difference from the bulky, battery-hungry goggles we usually picture to really grasp the lead, maybe quickly run through how the old tech works.
Sure. So traditional goggles, they typically use what's called an image intensifier tube. It takes any available light, visible or near-infrared photons, converts them into electrons.
Okay.
Then those electrons get amplified, boosted, and shot onto a phosphor screen. That screen glows, usually green, and that's the image you see. Much more complex, requires power.
Got it. Definitely more steps involved. So what are the big downsides of those goggles that these new lenses might fix?
Well, like we said, the power source means bulk, weight, batteries. Plus, traditional goggles often struggle to differentiate subtle details across the infrared range, especially the longer wavelengths. These lenses could potentially offer a richer view of that near-infrared world.
Okay, the tech sounds amazing on paper. But have they actually, tested them? What did the research find?
Oh, yeah. They started with mice, and the results were, well, pretty striking.
How so?
Mice with the lenses clearly avoided areas lit only by infrared, which implies they could see it. Their pupils even constricted when infrared light shone on them, just like ours do with visible light.
Wow.
And brain scans showed activity in the visual cortex, all signs pointing to them actually seeing the infrared.
Okay, mice are one thing. What about humans? Did people actually report seeing weird stuff?
They did. Human volunteers wearing the lenses could perceive flickering infrared light. They could even point to where it was coming from.
Okay.
But here's the bit that really jumps out. The researchers found the infrared vision actually got better when people closed their eyes.
Hold on. Seeing better with eyes shut. That sounds totally backwards. How does that work?
It seems counterintuitive, right? But the explanation is apparently that near-infrared light penetrates our eyelids more easily than visible light does.
Oh, okay.
So when you close your eyes, you cut out a lot of the noise from ambient visible light. This lets the infrared signal come through more clearly to the lenses, less interference.
That is genuinely surprising. A really cool finding. I think the lead researcher, Tian Xu, had a quote about this.
Yes, he put it very clearly. He said, it's totally clear-cut. Without the contact lenses, the subject cannot see anything, but when they put them on, they can clearly see the flickering of the infrared light. And then he added, when the subject closes their eyes, they're even better able to receive this flickering information. He specifically mentioned the eyelid penetration difference.
That really drives home how effective it was under those conditions.
Yeah.
Okay, so beyond just, basic night vision, What other cool applications did the article mention?
They flagged quite a few interesting possibilities. Because you can detect these subtle infrared flickers, think about security.
Like secret signals?
Exactly. Or rescue operations using infrared markers invisible to the naked eye. Even things like encryption or anti-counterfeiting. Imagine embedding patterns only visible with these lenses.
That opens up a whole hidden layer of information almost.
Yeah.
Like AR, but invisible without the tech.
Kind of, yeah.
And what about the color blindness angle? That sounded incredibly promising too.
Yes, that's another really exciting potential use. The researchers tweaked the nanoparticles so they could map specific near-infrared wavelength to different visible colors: blue, green, red.
So how would that help someone with color blindness?
Well, the idea is if someone struggles to tell apart, say, red and green visible light, maybe those colors have distinct signatures in the near-infrared. The lenses could potentially take that near-infrared difference and translate it into two visible colors that the person can easily distinguish.
So you're essentially remapping the problematic color information into a format their eyes and brain can process correctly.
That's the concept. Taking light information that's currently confusing or lost for them and making it clear via this spectral translation.
Did TNZ comment specifically on that application?
He did. He suggested something like, by converting red visible light into something like green visible light, this technology could make the invisible visible for colorblind people. It's about making that lost information accessible.
This all sounds revolutionary, but the article probably mentioned it's not quite ready for everyone to use tomorrow, right? What are the catches?
Absolutely. It's still early days. A big one is sensitivity. Right now, the lenses only really work well with light from very bright LED sources.
So not just faint ambient infrared.
Not yet. For practical night vision, they need to boost the sensitivity way up so it works with much lower light levels. That's a major engineering challenge.
Makes sense. You won't always have a bright IR flashlight handy. Any other hurdles?
They also mentioned that because the lens is right on the eye, so close to the retina, detecting really fine details might be tricky.
Like reading small print in infrared.
Exactly. That kind of high visual acuity could be limited by the lens format itself, which is why, interestingly, they also mentioned developing a wearable glass system.
Like glasses instead of contacts.
Or maybe in addition to. The idea seems to be that glasses could offer higher resolution viewing for tasks needing fine detail, while the contacts give you that general, always-on awareness.
So different tools for different infrared tasks. Contacts for broad awareness, glasses for detail, a kind of two-pronged approach.
Seems like it. The contacts give you that passive, seamless integration, while glasses could be for more specialized, high-res infrared work.
Okay, let's try to pull this together. We've been talking about these really cool new contact lenses
Right, using nanoparticles.
to basically convert invisible near-infrared light into visible light, passively. No power needed.
Which opens the door to maybe better night vision and potentially a new way to help people with color blindness.
We talked about the tech, the nanoparticles, how it compares to old goggles.
And the tests on mice and humans, including that weird but cool finding about seeing better with eyes closed.
Yeah, that was wild. And the potential uses security, rescue, anti-counterfeiting, and the color blindness assist.
But also the current limitations, needing bright light sources and maybe issues with fine detail.
Right. For me, the real aha here is just the sheer possibility of expanding our sight with something so normal, like a contact lens.
It's elegant, isn't it?
Yeah. And the color blindness idea, tackling it such a fundamentally different way, that's really powerful.
It really shifts the focus from just assisting sight to potentially, enriching or altering the sensory input itself.
So wrapping up this deep dive, here's something to chew on. As this kind of tech develops, how might it change how we even think about human perception, but the limits of our senses? And beyond the obvious uses we talked about, what other maybe unexpected things could come from bridging this gap between what we see and what's invisible? Feels like we're just scratching the surface of how we might interact with the world differently.